my cave. I'm going to do a review today on Computer Space. It's a game I added to my collection a while ago now. Got it over here beside my Rip-Off and Space War. There's the funky cabinet. Kind of hard to see in the black lights and the dark here, but it's a metal fleck type paint on it. Of course, it's in a fiberglass cabinet. And the game was released in 1971 by Knighting and Associates, and it was created by Nolan Bushnell, who, of course, later formed Atari. It was the first commercially sold coin-op game. There was a Galaxy game that came out. There was a coin-op game as well, but it wasn't commercially sold. That honor goes to Space or Computer Space. It gets kind of a bad rap for not being a fun game to play, and to be honest, I disagree. It is challenging. The controls, if we take a look at those, you'll see that there's a fire button, a thrust button, and then 2 rotate buttons. And I think what people find challenging the most when they're playing Computer Space is that the rotate buttons are usually on the left and the fire and thrust buttons are usually on the right. So Atari kind of patented that, or made that the standard back in the day with their Asteroids and Asteroids Deluxe, Gravatar, Space Duel, and then Cinematronics as well, with Rip-Off and such. The rotational buttons were on the left and right were controlled by your left hand, and then the thrust and the fire were controlled by your right hand. So it does take a little bit of getting used to when you are playing Computer Space, and I think that's one of the reasons there is it's actually backwards, so unless you're ambidextrous, it's pretty tough. You can see the control panel is silk screened like a lot of the early games. The control panel overlay art is right on an aluminum piece of metal there, and the art is actually painted on, silk screened onto the panel. It says Knighting Associates there, Synergy Energy. I forget what the significance of that is, but it was a quarter back in the day, 1971. The game is pretty much like all the other shooter games. You control a rocket ship, and you have the thrust and fire and 2 rotational buttons, like I said, and there's UFOs that you have to shoot. There's 2 of them. They kind of follow you around, hunt you, and the cool thing is you can bend your shot. So if you take a shot, you can, with the rotational buttons, you can bend your bullet to hit the UFOs. And it's a fun game. It's not a game that you sit there and play for hours, but it's challenging, and it's okay. It's a timed game. I think it's 90 seconds. I think you can actually set it up for different lengths of time. If you beat the UFOs at the end of the time, you can also set it up on the dip switches in the back of the game to then give you what's called hyperspace, and that gives you another 90 seconds of timed play. And yeah, so what I'll do now is I'll just walk around again, kind of give you an idea of what it looks like in my arcade or in a game room, and then I'm going to open up the game and show you the back, and I'll show you the TV that's in there. It's a GE 15-inch black and white TV, just a regular TV from back in the day. They did modify it to work with the CPU, the controls and all that, or the computer, and then, or the computer boards, and they also dismounted the speaker from the TV, extended that out and put it on the back, and I'll show you where that is as well. There's the coin bucket were kind of unique in these machines. They actually used a paint can, just an old paint can or an old 2-liter gas can, I guess. It's a liter or gallons, I guess. I'm sorry, I'm in Canada. But yeah, so I'll show you that. I'm missing the paint can or gas can, but it'll show you where it is there and all that. So yeah, so I'll turn this. I'll do a walk around, show you what it looks like in my arcade, and then I'll turn off the camera and I'll turn it on again, and we'll be looking at the back of the machine. I'll pull it out and I'll turn the lights on as well so you can see the metal effect paint, and I'll do a walk around of the fiberglass cool cabinet. Another thing too is, again, this is the first commercially produced coin-op arcade game, so you can see where they put the marquee there, and it is lit up with a few bulbs in the back, and it has some instructions on there, and it actually shows you what it is. It's a simulated space battle against the computer. So there you are, that's computer space, and I'll just do a quick walk around and then we'll turn it off and show you the insides, the guts of the game. Quite a few vector games, I do enjoy them the most. There's Tempest, and I got some Cinematronic games over here, Armor Attack and Star Castle. I got all the classics like Donkey Kong, Space Invaders, Pac-Man, Galaga, Missile Command, Frogger. Here's a Dragon's Lair that I restored. A little mini Monaco GP there. Mega Race, Tron, Gorf. Here's Lunar Lander. Asteroids Deluxe, Gravatar, Space Duel, that's one of my favorites. Battle Zone, of course Star Wars, Zaxxon, Space Fury, and Sit Down Star Trek. My two minis there, the Robotron 2084 and the Stargate. Defender, Sinistar, which is a great game, kind of hard to find now. Revenge from Mars is my only pinball, my newest game as well. And here's Space War, which is a great game. I'll do a review on that. I'll do a review on my my rip-off as well. And then there's the computer space, and that's what that row looks like there. And Atari football, sorry. Okay, so I've turned the lights on in my game room here, the cave, and you can see the carpet. It's not lit up from the black lights, and I've opened up the windows on the side here too. I have these big black curtains that usually hide the light for me, so there we are there. And I'm going to try to get the and there you can see the metal fleck paint job right there. Shows it off pretty good in the light there. So that's the cabinet. Very unique cabinet. Gives you a better idea in the light what it looks like. Sorry, it's still kind of dark, but of course my arcade is, the walls are black and such, so. There you go. You can see the shroud inside that has the score, and one of the unique things about the score is if you get up to 15, it actually rotates back down to 0. With the rockets and the saucers. It's timed, like I said, so you can set it on dip switch settings, and I think 90 seconds is usually the pretty standard. Original TV in it. TV is a tube TV, like I said, GE 15-inch. So there's the cabinet, and I'll walk around to the back of it now and show you what that looks like. I don't have a working key in it right now, so I just have this I don't know what it is, little latch there. You can see there's the serial number. They just hammered them on there. Doors, piece of plywood. There's some air vents here, or sorry, speaker vents here, and this is for the fan. Keep it cool. And there we are. So I'll go back around to the front again. There we go. So I'll go over, I'll turn off the camera, and then I'll open up the back, and we'll do a look at that. Okay, I got the back of the machine open of the computer space. We'll continue with our overview of the 1971 Nutting & Associates computer space. First commercially produced coin-op arcade game. Turn down the track mode on my Tron there. I did the hack on that. It was bothering me. So there's the boards there. There's 3 boards. You can call it a 3-board stack. They all connect down into the bottom there. You can actually see the spaceship where the graphics are created because there's no microprocessor on this game. So if you look here, you can see the rocket ship, and that's where the graphic images are stored. I guess that's the UFO there, and then there's the rocket ship. So I think those are diodes, and I don't really know how to explain that. Sorry, but you can actually see it on there how they create the image. That's how they do that. So something to do with TTLs and all that. But anyway, there's the coin counter there. I'm sure it's been over. Power supply and everything. The 5 volts is very tricky on here. It's very picky. If it's not set up right, it'll act funny. There's the fan there, blows the arrow, you can see all the dust around it, and there's the speaker. The speaker connects, like I said, to the TV, so it actually follows the wire down, it goes back up, and it goes inside in the TV. They just extended it out to the back of the cabinet. I'm not going to take the TV out, but if we were to reach up and around up front here, you can see where the marquee lights are. So this lights up that marquee that says computer space on the front that has the instructions and the graphics there. And then you can actually reach up in front of right here in front of the lights, and this is where the contrast and the brightness and the volume and everything is on the front of the TV. So it's a little tricky, but it's not too bad. You can fool around with it and get it going. There's the model of the, you can see right, hopefully this will pick up on the camera. It's a General Electric TV, like I said. I believe they're like a 1967 to a 69 years that they used, even though this was produced in 71. And then there's the model number of it, of the TV itself. And again, there's some vertical hold and size and linear and all that on the back of the TV as well. Like I said, the TV is original. It's a tube TV. Right here I have the schematics, the manual, and all of that for it. Gives you instructions and troubleshooting guide. It's actually not bad. It's pretty easy to read. A little shelf in there, that's all original as well, and the shroud. And it's got these brackets here that holds the TV in. And then to get the back of the TV off, I've taken off one screw here, and then there's another one here. I'll take it off, and if I can get at it easy enough, I'll show you what the back of the TV looks, inside of the TV looks like with all the tubes and everything. You can see what it looks like inside. It's all fiberglass molded. There's the where the coin bucket would go, the paint can or slash gas can. I'm missing the whatchamacallit, the coin return mechanism. And then you can see, I think I have enough light I can show you. So there, the rotational buttons, the fire button and the thrust button are all, of course, lit up on the outside there, so you can see the buttons. You can see the switches, and they look like the old EM switches. Actually, they kind of look like relays, but they're not. But that's what that looks like. My game is actually kind of working on free play, and what somebody did is they've you can just walk up and hit the button there and it'll start, but they've bent up the coin the switch there into the on position, and for some reason it works. I don't know why, or maybe they've done something else that I don't know, but it does work just by walking up and hitting it. When I flip it back to where it should be, then it doesn't work. So they've done something there with the switch. So and there's the fuses and linear power supply, all that. I'm not too technical with this end of the games and stuff, but give you an idea anyway. I've seen this tape on other games as well, so I'm assuming it's original. I'm not sure why it's there, but maybe to keep the dust out. But I'll show you around the side here. It's got the adjustments. There's a time adjustment. for increase and decrease. So, and the buttons are down here. So up for extended play, which it's in right now. If you don't want extended play, the operator could click that button down and then it wouldn't go into the hyperspace. So again, at the end of the timed game, if the rocket ship, the player playing the rocket ship was to beat the UFOs, have a higher score, then it would go into hyperspace, which would be another 90-second free time for the player. You could put it into 2 plays for 1 quarter. You can see that there. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe if I turn it like that, that might be worse. But, and again, there's a switch right here. You push it down for 1 play, down, and for 1 quarter. And, for 1 quarter, you get 1 play, or 1 quarter, you get 2 plays. And then there's a test pattern as well. Alright, here we got the TV again. I was talking about that. And we're going to, I've removed all the screws from it now. And I'm going to try to remove the back here. Try to do this while I've got the camera. You gotta be careful of the yoke, of course. The back of the tube, the neck tube. The neck of the tube. And you can see it's just a conventional TV. There's even right here an antenna on top of the TV. So there we go. Here's the tubes that are in it. Great big capacitor there. I'm lucky my TV works well. There's the yoke there. I'm not sure where the modification is. I believe it's somewhere in around here. Because those are the wires that lead back to the computer board. And there's the again the model of the TV. Try to see if there's a date or anything on it. And then there's a sticker inside as well. Let's see if I can focus in on that. And that's the chassis information on it. Bit of a schematic, I guess. Warnings up top there on the cardboard piece. Some more numbers on the yoke. Not much of an anode cup on there, eh? You can see where they've riveted into the side of the TV to hold it into place. So I'm not sure how you would actually remove this. I know some guys have removed their TVs, but I've never needed to or tried to, so I do see that it is riveted in there. Up on top of the TV as well, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but there's right here is, see, these TVs were called portable TVs actually, back in the day, these black and white TVs, and this right here is a strap to hold it. And I'm not going to take off the front or anything like that so you can see the front of it, but the front is silver. It has some dials, like I said, in the front there. You can see down there where they are. Brightness, contrast, tint, that sort of thing. But that's the computer space, so there we are. I'm sorry I don't get too technical into it. Again, I don't know a lot of the technical end of it, a little bit, but mostly just what I've read, and there we are. So I'll go back, I'll put the TV back on, the back of the TV, and then I'll do a quick review on the gameplay. And like I said, it's not as bad as most people think. I think most people play it once or twice. The controls are backwards. Everything that's usually on your right hand is on your left, so they find it frustrating. I can tell by the gameplay that they find it frustrating, and they end up giving up. So we will do a little review on that. I've played it a few times, so I can do okay, and I can last a while, and we'll see if I can get into hyperspace. Alright, I'll set up a tripod and be right back. Okay, so I still have the back of the game off. I'm just going to show you a few things. One, I've closed the curtains here, turned off the lights, turned off the black lights, and that's what the tubes look like once they're all lit up. And I just took them out. I just wrote down the numbers. I'm going to buy some extras. They all seem to be working fine, but I think it's probably a good idea to find that stuff where they're not making it anymore. Or I'm not sure the availability on them. I know other guys have got them, so probably a good idea that I have some spares. So I'm going to go ahead and do some research on that once I'm done the video here today. I'm going to turn on the lights again here. Or actually, I'll just open up the curtains behind me, and you'll be able to see where the speaker went. So right down in there, right in the front there, that's the speaker grill for the TV. And of course, the speaker has been moved out to here on the back door, and then there was those holes that you saw at the beginning of the video, and they've just taken the wire, gone all the way through, past this capacitor here, past that tube. They don't even really tie them in, and then they've knotted in. So I'm assuming the wire was much shorter originally when they had that in there, but anyway, that's what it looks like when it's all lit up at the back. Nice neck glow on the TV. Still working after all these years. And there's the computer space. So I'll set up a tripod and do some gameplay. Okay, I've got the took some time there playing with the focus and what makes it darker there. I don't know if it's a brightness control or what. I can't see it on the front of the TV there when I have my hands up inside, because again, the controls are down in front, just underneath this marquee on the front of the TV face there. So that's where I have to get to play with those. And I've got a really nice dark picture. It's showing up pretty good on the camera now. I had to play with that a little bit as well, because as the had on autofocus, and it was as the UFOs would move, it would go out of focus. So I think I got it pretty good, and I'm going to do some gameplay here now. Again, my game's set up. I don't know if somebody hacked it or what, or you just go in and hit the start button. You don't have to credit it up or anything, and it'll start. So there's my rocket ship. And these two UFOs move kind of in unison. So one's actually off the screen right now. There he is. I'm getting my ass handed to me. Once I get going, I can do okay. But it is a little bit tricky. Again, I'll take a shot here, and you'll watch my shot. I can move it up and down. Oh. Okay, there we go. Missed him. We both got hit there. So this is a challenging game. This is not an easy game. It's a basic game, just like a lot of the 80s games were. There's not a lot to it, but I find it pretty fun. Just like I find a lot of those other ones fun, but this one gets a pretty bad rap as far as I'm concerned. And it's like cross between an electronic mechanical EM game and a video game. And it's not really, but it feels like it to me. I have a few EM games, and it's kind of got the same feel for some reason. I'm just going to try to shoot that one there. So I'm in hyperspace now, extended time. And what happened was the UFOs actually beat me really bad, and they got over 15. So when they did, there we go. their score went to 0. And the hyperspace is nothing more than the screen goes white. Same as kind of like when you shoot them, there's the crash sound, there's the thrust sound, and then there's the beeping when you use the rotational buttons each way. It's not bad. Actually doing all right now. I'm kind of on the roll. You can really get used to how they move, the pattern of the game, quite quickly. Anybody that's watched any of my other videos knows I'm not a great gamer. So we both ended up wrapping our scores around. I believe if I beat him again, it's almost at 90 now. It'll just keep going. Am I winning or am I losing? Let's see. Oh, I missed him. 4-4. Oh, so there you go. Anyway, that's Computer Space. You know, I'm not going to say it's the best game in the world, but I do think it gets a bit of a bum rap. It is more playable and enjoyable than people think. And like everybody says, the cabinet, the fiberglass cabinet with the metal flake paint definitely makes up for it. So that's Nuttings and Associates 1971 Computer Space. Thanks for watching. Just another quick note here. This is the game that Bushnell and is it Dabney, whatever his name is, the two Atari guys that went on to form Atari that created Computer Space. This is the game that they were trying to rip off, basically, which was Space Wars. And I guess it was at MIT in 1961, I believe it was, on one of the big old computers there, you know, the big as a room. And the guys there had engineers had invented this game, and I'm probably destroying the story here, but anyway, this was the game that they were trying to get, basically emulate or whatever, rip off, or I guess it would be a clone of this game, and you know, they did a good job of the game of Computer Space, I think, for the time, 1971, but it's a far cry from you know, the actual Cinematronics and Vector Beam Space Wars that would come later in 1977, 78. So anyway, there's a close-up of the game there, and that Space Wars, which inspired originally, not this particular Space Wars, but the original Space Wars from 1961, inspired the 1971 Computer Space.